Hey fashion lovers, in today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you step by step on how to cut and sew a stylish cargo pocket for trouser. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced tailor, this easy sewing tutorial will help you to add both function and style to your pants. My name is Oluwatosin. In case this is the first time you are seeing my tutorial and you're welcome, please do well to subscribe and do not just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified the next time I upload a new tutorial on this channel, because on this channel I upload sewing tutorials on daily basis. And to all my returning subscribers, you're also welcome. Thank you so much for always stopping by my tutorials. That being said, there are different kinds of this cargo pocket. Some with flap. The flap is the cover of the cargo pocket, while some are without flap, just like this particular one in this tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew this kind that does not have flap, which is the cover, but I'm still going to tell you how to go about sewing the cover. Without talking too much, let us jump right into the tutorial. For cargo pockets like this, you must have determined how wide you want it to be. You have to determine how wide you want it to be, which is the length and the breadth. For me, I used 8 by 8. Another thing you have to determine is where you want to place the pocket on your trouser. If you want it to be up or in between or down, it can be anywhere on the side of your trouser. So for me, I'll be using this Ankara fabric and I used length of 8 by width of 8. One of the things that will determine the length of your pocket is if it's going to have that flap, the cover. If it will not have flap, you have to determine whether you are folding it inside with this same piece or you are using another piece to fold the edge inside. So in my case, I used another piece to fold the edge inside. I cut length of 8 and breadth of 8. And after cutting out, what you would do next is to measure round this way that I just did. After measuring round, I cut out the length that I measured. I added 3 inches to the length because I'll be folding at the edge on both sides as well. So I'll be using 1.5 inch to fold on both sides. Then I cut another piece to fold the edge of my pocket. This one is also 2 inches wide, and then the length is the 8 inches, which is the width of the pocket. So after folding the mouth of the pocket, it's now time to sew round that long strip that I've cut. And to do that, you remember I said I added allowance for folding, so I folded the mouth before stitching it on my pocket. I hope that explanation is clear. So when you are done doing this, the next is to pick up your trouser where you'll be sewing the pocket on, and then you will determine where you want the pocket to be. Like I said earlier, for me it's going to be on 12 inches from the waistline, 12 inches away from the waistline. So what you would do is to place the pocket on top of where the pocket will be sewn on, like this, and then you fold that extension inside and mark round. Please, you have to fold the extension inside. The piece that you've sewn on it, you have to fold it inside while you are marking. It has to be like this before you mark where you sew your pocket on. Then when you are done doing this, it is now time to sew the pocket on top of it. So you are going to open the extension back and then fold it inward with just 1/2 inch and sew on your marking. Sew on the place that you have marked, and you have to open it up to sew. Don't sew the way you've marked, as in don't fold it the way you folded it when you wanted to mark it. When you want to sew, open it up, fold it inward with just 1/2 inch, and then you are going to carefully sew it from one side to the down and then to the other side, just the way I did. The next is to give this a very good press, and you are almost done sewing your pocket. Now, if this cargo pocket is going to have flap, you just have to sew your flap separately. Make sure that the flap is also 8 inches, and then you are going to turn your flap separately, and you'll be stitching it down on the up of the pocket, and then you just flip it on top of the pocket. But mine is not going to have flap, so I'm just going to neatly stop stitch on both sides. This top stitching is optional, is not a must. It's just because I want the mouth to cover a bit, but if you don't mind, you can leave it like that as well. So that's for one side. Now I'll be doing the second side and I'll be repeating myself so that you can understand it better. So after stitching the extension on your pocket, just like this, Bring your pocket, and then the other time I faced it downward when I was marking. You can also face it like this and mark. Please, the extension has to be folded while you mark. Then after marking, flip it back to the other side, and then you are going to sew your cargo pocket on your trouser. So you just have to fold the extension inward with half inch, and then you neatly sew it on top of where you have marked. If at this point you are still with me and you've not subscribed, please kindly subscribe, and do not just subscribe, turn on the notification bell so that you will be notified the next time I upload a new tutorial on this channel. Because like I said earlier, on this channel I upload sewing tutorials on daily basis. So that is it for the second side. You can see that this pocket is so beautiful, and then you top stitch on both sides, and this top stitching is optional. You can choose to leave your pocket like that. I also made a very detailed tutorial on how I was able to cut and sew these ashoke pants. That tutorial is so detailed and it is beginners friendly. So if you're interested in knowing how I was able to cut and sew these ashoke pants, the link to that tutorial is currently showing up, and the link to it will also be down in the description box. So after sewing my cargo pocket on my ashoke pants, I proceeded to sewing the rest of the ashoke pants. Like I said, the link to the sewing tutorial is down in the description box if you want to learn how I was able to cut and sew this ashoke pants. You should check out that tutorial. The link to it is just down in the description box. And basically, that is it on how to cut and sew these beautiful cargo pockets. If this tutorial has been helpful to you, do not forget to give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you will be part of those that will be notified the next time I upload a new tutorial on this channel. Now, if you want to watch the cutting and sewing tutorial of this beautiful ashoke pants, click on the box on the right side of your screen. It takes you directly to the cutting and sewing tutorial of the ashoke pants. As much as possible, please help me share my tutorial and miss your friends and loved ones. If it has been helpful to you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. In case you have any question, please ask me down in the comment section. I'll be more than willing to answer all of your questions, and do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.